In the shadows of society, there are dark individuals whose names send shivers down spines and strike fear into hearts. This has been the way since the dawn of civilization. Ever wondered how the world's most dangerous criminals operate? How do they escape the law, and who's aiding their dark deeds? Well, we will find that out as we take a closer look at some of the most brutal and dangerous criminals in the world. Starting our list at number 10 is Matteo Messina Denaro, often called the Last Godfather, a name that strikes fear into the heart of everyone in Sicily. Known as the boss of all bosses, he's been a fugitive since 1993, slipping through the fingers of law enforcement. What's most shocking was his art of disappearing. Denaro had a network of secret informers and frequently changed his appearance to evade that easily. He's the alleged boss of the Cosa Nostra, the notorious Sicilian mafia. His crimes, from brutal murders to extortion, Denaro's hands were stained with the blood of countless victims. Denaro was believed to be behind horrific bombings in the 90s, targeting innocent people and iconic locations in Italy. Yet, he remained at large. Why didn't the authorities catch him for so long? Was it his deep connections within the mafia's web, or his mastery of staying under the radar? Later, he was found and arrested at a private clinic where he was being treated for colon cancer. Denaro died in a prison hospital at 61 years of age. Denaro's story is a haunting reminder of the mafia's enduring grip on Italy. Moving on to number 9, we have Semyon Mogilevich, a name that echoes infamy in the underworld. Often called the Brainy Don, Mogilevich's criminal empire has stretched across nations. His operations have reached into the realms of money laundering, arms trafficking, and drug deals. What's astonishing is how Mogilevich managed to keep his operations hidden under the guise of legitimate businesses. He has a global network with connections in Europe, Russia, and even the United States. But how did he build such an expansive empire without being caught? He's known for using multiple aliases and possessing several passports. He's on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list. Yet, despite international efforts to capture him, he remains a step ahead. His whereabouts are still unknown. Is it his intellect or his extensive connections that keep him free? Mogilevich's story is not just about crime, but also about the power of the criminal intellect. At number 8, we have Dawood Ibrahim, a notorious gangster, drug lord, and terrorist from Dongri, Mumbai, India. Ibrahim is the head of the Indian organized crime syndicate D Company. He's the alleged mastermind behind the 1993 Mumbai bombings, a horrific event that shook India to its core. Ibrahim is wanted in India and several other countries on charges including murder, extortion, targeted killing, drug trafficking, and terrorism. He's also a designated global terrorist by the United States and the United Nations. Dawood is known as the Don and the King of the Underworld. His ability to merge the underworld with terrorist activities makes him ever dangerous. Despite being on the wanted list of Interpol and various national agencies, capturing him has proven daunting. Is his vast network protecting him, or is it his strategic planning? Dawood Ibrahim is a ruthless and dangerous criminal who has had a devastating impact on India and the world. Number 7 on our list is Ayman al-Zawahiri, a name that's become synonymous with global terrorism. Al-Zawahiri, once the leader of al-Qaeda, has been a central figure in orchestrating numerous terrorist attacks worldwide. His role in al-Qaeda elevated him to be one of the world's most wanted terrorists. Did you know, in 1981, Zawahiri was involved in the assassination of Egyptian President Anwar Sadat. His journey into extremism began in Egypt, eventually leading him to join forces with Osama bin Laden. Together, they planned and executed some of the most devastating terrorist attacks in history, including the infamous September 11th attacks. He continued to issue threats against the West and to call for attacks on Western targets. Despite being a high-value target for international security agencies, al-Zawahiri escaped capture for years. Zawahiri was killed in a US drone strike in Kabul, Afghanistan in July 2022. His death was a major blow to al-Qaeda, but the organization is likely to continue to pose a threat to global security. Joaquin Archibaldo Guzman Loera, or El Chapo, takes the 6th spot. His name rings loud in the world of drug trafficking. Loera began his criminal career in the 1970s, growing and selling marijuana. In the 1980s, he joined the Sinaloa cartel, one of the most powerful drug cartels in Mexico. But what makes El Chapo such a notorious figure? Rising through the ranks, he became the leader of the Sinaloa cartel. His journey from a humble farmer to a drug lord is a tale of cruelty and cunning. El Chapo's operations spanned across continents, flooding streets with illegal drugs, but it's not just the scale of his operations that's shocking. He's infamous for his daring prison captures, earning him a near-mythical status. He's said to have a network of tunnels that he used to escape prison. How did he break out of high-security prisons not once but twice? It's a tale that baffles even seasoned law enforcement officers. His eventual capture and extradition to the United States marked a significant moment in the fight against drug trafficking. Before we continue, a quick pause. If you're intrigued by these criminal masterminds, hit the like and subscribe button for more stories. And hey, why not share this video with a friend who's equally intrigued by these hidden stories? Quick question. What made these individuals such notorious and deadly figures? Lust for power, fame, or wealth? Let's continue the top 5 most dangerous criminals on our list. At number 5, Edwin Wright, an enigma in the criminal world. He's a master of organized crime, involved in many illegal activities, yet remains an enigma. Wright is known for his ability to elude capture, becoming almost a legend in the criminal world. His criminal portfolio includes various activities, from high-stakes robbery to intricate fraud schemes. But it's not just his remarkable criminal acts, it's his ghost-like ability to vanish before law enforcement can catch up. How has Wright managed to stay one step ahead of the authorities for so long? His operations are shrouded in secrecy, and little's known about his personal life or whereabouts. This mystery adds to his notoriety and questions his true identity and connections. His ongoing evasion of capture serves as a reminder of the cunning and resourcefulness of some criminal figures. Coming in at number 4 is Bolyos Lydekkers, a notorious figure in the European criminal underworld. Lydekkers, known for his ruthless tactics, has carved a notorious reputation in organized crime. His criminal activities span a variety of illegal enterprises, from high-stakes robbery to money laundering. How does Lydekkers manage to stay one step ahead of the authorities? His knack for staying under the radar is almost legendary, leaving law enforcement agencies grappling in the dark. Despite being such a significant figure in the criminal hierarchy, details about Lydekkers' personal life and operations remain murky. This secrecy has only added to his mystique and made him a challenging target for law enforcement. Bolyos Lydekkers' story highlights the persistent challenge of tackling organized crime, especially when dealing with individuals who are experts at staying hidden. His ongoing evasion raises questions about the reach and influence of criminal networks in Europe. Harold Shipman, number 3, is a name that chillingly contrasts with his profession. Known as Dr. Death, Shipman was a trusted general practitioner who turned into one of the most prolific serial killers in history. But what led this seemingly ordinary doctor down such a dark path? Shipman's method was sinister yet straightforward. He administered lethal doses of painkillers to his patients, causing their untimely deaths. The sheer number of his victims is horrifying. Estimates suggest he may have killed up to 250 people. How could a doctor, sworn to protect life, commit such heinous acts? His crimes went undetected for years, partly due to his role as a respected doctor. How could such a trusted figure get away with murder for so long? Shipman's eventual conviction brought some justice, but his case left a permanent scar on the medical community and remains a stark reminder of the potential for evil hidden behind a facade of care. Number 2 on our list is the infamous Pablo Escobar. Known as the King of Cocaine, Escobar was the head of the Medellin cartel, a criminal empire that dominated the global cocaine market. But what drove Escobar to become the most feared drug lord in history? His operations weren't just about smuggling cocaine. He built a vast network that included bribery, murder, and terror tactics. His ruthless approach led to an era of violence and chaos in Colombia. How did one man wield such power and instill fear on a massive scale? Despite his criminal activities, Escobar was seen by some as a Robin Hood figure, often giving money to the poor. He was one of the wealthiest criminals in history, with an estimated net worth of $30 billion. His eventual downfall and death in a shootout in 1993 marked the end of a notorious chapter in the history of organized crime. Escobar's legacy is a blend of brutality, power, and the dark allure of the drug trade. And finally, at number 1, we have Li Fangwei, also known as Carl Lee. He's infamous for his involvement in illegal arms dealing on a global scale. Lee's operations have had far-reaching consequences, fueling conflicts in various parts of the world. What's particularly alarming about Li Fangwei is his ability to operate within the shadows of international law. He's accused of supplying weapons to conflict zones, particularly in the Middle East and Africa. How did Lee manage to build such a dangerous and covert network? His mastery in evading international sanctions and law enforcement has made him a ghost in the realm of arms trafficking. Li Fangwei's story is a stark reminder of the dark and often unseen world of illegal arms trade. His actions not only challenged global security, but also raised critical questions about the effectiveness of international law in combating arms trafficking. His case highlights the complex and shadowy nature of global illicit activities. For every criminal, there's a story, a motivation, and a lesson to be learned. Want more thrilling stories? We'd love to hear from you in the comments box. Until next time.